is Truth to Power. I am Kyle Wallace, and I am joined today by our guest co-host, Dame Ellzey.
Ellzey in the building.
Yes, sir. And we are having a conversation talking about the fact that the Trump administration has reversed their executive order. They They used their executive order to reverse a policy that was put into place by the Biden administration, which now ends the National Police Misconduct Database. The National Police Misconduct Database. So now the police can do whatever they want and not have a database where potentially they tried to job hop from place to place. Police can go to a database to figure out whether or not you are in that database. Just like anything else, just like a lot of other jobs, when you do a background check, this allows for us to make sure that we do not have any bad apples on the street. And there's a story, I just want to, I want to have some clarity on this. And there is a Scripps.com news story that I want y'all to hear so y'all can just truly get the background on exactly what is happening and why it's happening. And I'm going to talk to Damien. We got some calls on the other side.
Trump continues to make many changes to criminal justice policies, some that directly impact police accountability. National correspondent Lori Jane Glehigh is live now with more details on what the president is doing and how this is impacting the public. LJ?
Hey, Nate. Yeah, President Trump has made a series of policy changes affecting criminal justice, but there are a few that stood out recently, including the removal of a database that was used to track federal law enforcement, both for good and bad behavior.
A notice at the top of a Department of Justice website indicates the National Law Enforcement Accountability Database, launched in 2023, is no longer active. The move to shut down the tracking system comes as part of President Trump's recent executive orders. Agencies can no longer check the database for records of current and former federal law enforcement officers who have criminal convictions and terminations related to misconduct. The database also tracked officers who resigned or retired under investigation and even kept information about commendations and awards.
It's really unfortunate that this really powerful segment of law enforcement agents no longer has any way to be vetted or tracked before they're hired back into another federal agency.
Lauren Bonds is executive director of the National Police Accountability Project, a civil rights organization focused on holding law enforcement accountable.
This federal database was really kind of a beta test for whether a larger national database that covered state and local police might be able to be functional and work. Not really letting it be in existence that long is disappointing.
President Trump is making other criminal justice moves as well, highlighting his new pardon czar at the White House celebration of Black History Month Thursday, a woman named Alice Johnson.
You know, Alice was in prison for doing something that today probably wouldn't even be prosecuted.
The president pardoned Alice Johnson during his first term. She was serving a life sentence for a nonviolent drug crime. He says she'll help search for other people who may deserve clemency.
And Alice Johnson.
That's from Scripps News. And so what bothers me is that why are people running away from accountability? Why are people not up in arms about this? I mean, this is not just a black issue. That's what I want people to understand, Dame, is that this is not a black issue because there are people across every single ethnic background in this country who get police force used on them at an excessive point. People who get profiled by the police as well. And so for me, it is just disappointing because we aren't saying that the police are trash, they suck, we don't want them. What we're saying is we want to hold individuals that do wrong at their job, that are poor at their job. We want to make sure that they get held accountable. That is all we're looking for. We're looking for individuals who have either been decertified or convicted of crimes, or individuals who have abused their power to have accountability.
Like you said, why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't that be something that any person in their right mind would want, especially for a police officer who, like I stated earlier, it can't be the judge, jury, and executioner all in 1 second.
That's the truth.
Ask Tamir Rice. Ask all of these young people that have been killed by police officers because of what they do. Now, not every police officer is a repeat offender, but if you aren't good in one city, why would you be able to go to another city and get the same job so that you can do the same stuff? You know, because they want them to be able to do that.
And the sad thing is that this job of police force, and we're going to talk about this, being a police officer is a tough and stressful job. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it because I could not handle that level of stress. I could not make a split-second decision of whether or not I'm going to lose my life or I need to take somebody's life. That is a stressful job, and everybody is not fit to do that job. They are not fit to do that job. And me personally, I believe if you don't go to school for at least 4 years to be a police officer, you shouldn't have it. You should not be able to graduate from high school, go to some academy, and then go into the police force. You have not lived enough life experience. You have not, for me, worked hard enough and got just enough education to understand. And one thing I believe that college does, regardless if you go to a HBCU or predominantly white institution, it gets you out of your shell and it allows for you to find yourself and discover the world. Now, you're still young at 22 years old, but when you put that much time and effort into getting a piece of paper, you value what you have. Not saying officers don't value the fact that they put in the time for training, but you have to understand when you have student loan bills of $40,000, $50,000 you got to pay, it's different. It hits different.
You're carrying a gun amongst the public, right? You are in split decisions, have to be, like you just said, have to make these decisions, right? So if you have to be able to do that, you should be trained more than 6 months, more than however long they are in the academy to do that. You should have to go through a rigorous situation. A lawyer got to go to law school. They got to go to graduate school. They got to go to undergrad. Then they go to law school.
Doctors,
right?
dental, everything.
These are professional people that have people's lives in their hands, and they making decisions. And if they make the wrong decision, it's affecting someone's life.
They can lose their license. They can lose their job. It happens a lot.
If you're a lawyer and you lose your license in Wisconsin, I bet you can't go to Minnesota and get one. You know what I'm saying?
Or follow you, like we just heard about.
Follow you.
We just heard about Tony Busby, the attorney who for against Deshaun Watson, and tried to bring a case against Diddy and Jay-Z. It sounds like he may not be able to practice law in the state of New York anymore because of the false stuff that he tried to push on Jay-Z. 833-212-1017. Steve in Greenfield, what are your thoughts here on the conversation?
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, Steve?
Cannot agree with you. What's that?
I said, how you doing, Steve?
Hello?
I got you.
Oh, hi, good, you guys. I cannot agree with you guys more. You gentlemen are right on, spot on, and so many societal things of training, because in Europe, with my relatives in Germany, Spain, all that, they got to go, and Japan, to be a cop in Japan, are you kidding me? They got to do training like there's last day on earth. Are you kidding me?
That's how it should be.
That being said, though, what's that?
I said that's how it should be. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. It's a gun. But you guys got to remember, though, and you have to stress, I'm not excusing cops at all. You got to remember, though, if it's a black cop, white cop, brown cop, whatever, woman, the first color they recognize is blue. So if you think, and I'm not excusing the white cops because it's more so, it's blue. No, you look at the cops in Memphis.
Yeah, the cops down in Memphis. Yeah, the cops down in Memphis. But there's one thing that annoys me so much.
They're predominantly black, which is fine. But they had some conviction.
They did.
They had some convictions against.
No, they beat up.
What's
they beat up. That's why all skin folk ain't kin folk. You're absolutely right, Steve. And I'll leave you with this one, Steve. It's the fact that we also understand is that in a response to Black Lives Matters, people started talking about Blue Lives Matters. I didn't know a damn Smurf became a life. 833-212-1017. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
I think that he's trying to build his loyalists through an army. But remember this, he's using black people as a cover-up. He's hated most by whites. His assassination tips is by whites. The people who's closest to him is by whites. White people know how white people think. White people will kill when they want to kill, and when he's taken down, it's going to be by white people. He's just using black people as a cover-up because he already turned his back on the back of the badge of the blue, who let them know, I don't care about you. So when people are not afraid to die, they won't be afraid to kill. And that's what he's doing. So he's trying to build his loyalists, but his biggest enemy is whites. And you know how whites take down whites. Not like blacks, but his biggest enemy is the whites. Have a great day.
You too, Al. Thank you so much. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. Also, watch and stream us live on YouTube. 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. You can watch and stream us live on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as we are on our road to 5,000 subscribers. But also hit that thumbs up button. But Cherie from Milwaukee on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
Hello. Hi. I would just like to say, bring up a situation that happened, I think, yesterday. Donald Trump made a comment that he has people thinking for him. So that might be one reason. The second thing is every dog is going to have their day. You know what I mean? And what we have to realize as Black people, we cannot constantly feel like white people have to validate us. We have to validate ourselves, our community. We have to instruct our families of things, what to do, what not to do. We have to study. We have to study. We have to study. We have to search out stuff. We have to ask questions. And white America has and will never accept us as part of history. We also have to realize that a lot of these police officers are Aryan Nation people. A lot of them are KKK. A lot of them are secret societies. A lot of them, that's their main focus is to deteriorate and intimidate our Black men. And I think that we need to learn how to put certain things aside when it comes to validation, and we need to validate ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cherie. I appreciate you sharing that.
1 point.
833-212-1017. We're going to recap a lot of these conversations, but lastly, Miss Sandra, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this?
Hi. Oh, I got a lot of thoughts.
All right. Let's
number one, I call your show. You know I call. My son just died in the prison.
I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry.
I'm mad. I'm like the what you call the bad Black man mother. But the thing is you got one man. He's trained up. He's been to all these different prisons, but the crime is over high to the sky. But all the crime that I always hear that I see has got to be blackface. So with this done with Trump and him eliminating police being responsible for their actions, it's a genocide to me. Because once you get them and you lock them up, you break them down as a man, and then they say they come back out and they repeat. Well, how you going to function? When you're being my son was there for 22 years, and I'm gonna tell you he was super smart because he was going. I mean, I got stacks of paper. He's been in there since 2003. Stacks of paper where he was using his case to find other cases plus the law. And they were keeping him on lockdown, solitary confinement. But he wouldn't talk. They don't talk. They don't let you know what's being done to them up there. Some of them I see call the show a little bit now, but they kind of try to shut them down. So I'm just saying in the Breonna Taylor incident, her incident, they had the guy they needed. They had no business going to her house. Because we started reading up on that, a lot of times they're doing the wrong thing, and then the death penalty. They want that back.
And Sandra, really quickly, Daniel Cameron is the attorney general that was the person who brought that to a grand jury and had no interest. A Black man had no interest whatsoever in trying to bring charges against police officers in that case. Daniel Cameron is now. I call him a coon. I call him a coon to his damn face because at this point he's trying to run for. Now he's trying to run for U.S. Senate. As well, so y'all gonna hear that name out. He definitely he's not like us.
Beware of ambitious politics.
I thought he was married or something to Mitch McConnell, kinfolk.
You want to know
a lot of what they call this family thing.
Miss Sandra, I'm gonna let you go, but you're absolutely right, and I'll say this about that. He is married to Mitch McConnell's, I believe, somebody in his family. Mitch McConnell is the current U.S. senator from Kentucky. Do you know that he just announced that he's running for Mitch McConnell's seat because Mitch McConnell's retiring? And when he had made the announcement, he said Mitch McConnell voting against some of Trump nominees has failed leadership, and I would vote for every single nominee. That man, listen, let me tell you, that brother, he know how the white man play the game.
Yeah.
He know how to play the game because Black people, typically we have this sense of trusting one another. And I don't know, too often sometimes I think we are forgiving. That brother threw his own damn family under the bus. A man who helped elevate him, threw him under the bus. He don't care about mentorship.
They're not mad about that in that family because he's doing what he needs to do to get elected. Mitch McConnell did what he had to do. Now he's doing what he has to do. Mitch probably told him to do it. He said, throw me under the bus. Let him, say you not like me. Even be more right to the right than me.
That's crazy. 833-212-1017. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side because I got to ask the question to Dame is about why don't people speak up? Why don't white people speak up when they see racism across here? And when we think about the badge and we think about police reform, how can we demand some type of police reform? Because I feel like the steam we had in 2020 is completely gone. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace and our guest host, Damien Ellzey, today on the award-winning 1017, The Truth.